Make sure red is tracked. 9, 8, ready A, 6, 5, 4, 3, wait for it, 2, 1, and roll red.
First and 5, from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
I would like them to specifically address climate change as it affects Miami in particular.
Climate change is one of the main issues Miami residents are hoping to hear about in tonight's Republican debate hosted by CNN. The debate is our top story in our special broadcast this March 10th, live from the University of Miami campus where the debate's being held. I'm Maria Edinger.
And I'm Connor Ingalls. Thanks for joining us for this special edition. We spent all day at as the 4 remaining Republican presidential candidates prepare to face off yet again, this time just days before Florida's primary. We spoke to some people with Google, and they've been monitoring minute-by-minute fluctuations in voter opinion of candidates and of the issues that are most present in the public's mind, grouped by location, age, and gender. Some of the things people in Florida are most hoping to hear about tonight include the economy, healthcare, the climate, and gun control.
Roll a take.
And so what we have going on here for the first time, we have minute-by-minute search interest in the big issues that people are talking about, things like immigration, same-sex marriage, abortion, and so on, plus searches for the candidates in some of the key states. You can see what's happening in Florida, in Ohio, these winner-take-all states that are going to happen next week, which are really key for all the candidates.
Open their mic.
We'll have more on what to expect from tonight's debate later in the broadcast, but we'll turn first to the Democrats.
That's right. Last night, Univision and CNN hosted a Democratic debate here in Miami, Bernie Sanders versus Hillary Clinton. They talked about everything from immigration, their voting record in Senate, and even Donald Trump. NBC Jay Gray has that report.
Play take.
Hillary Clinton came out confident as frontrunner.
I'm continuing to work hard for every single vote.
While Bernie Sanders is riding a wave of momentum after an upset win in last night's Michigan primary.
When we began this campaign, I was 3% in the polls. I was probably 60 or 70 points behind the secretary. We have come a long way in 10 months.
Donald Trump doesn't take the stage until tomorrow with the rest of the Republican candidates during their debate. Still, he was the focus early for the Democrats.
I called him out when he was calling Mexicans rapists.
I think that the American people are never going to elect a president who insults Mexicans.
Next, the discussion turned to immigration, each taking swipes at the other.
Madam Secretary, I will match my record against yours any day of the week.
But ultimately agreeing to what they would do as president.
The undocumented people living in our country, I do not want to see them deported. I want to see them on a path to citizenship.
I will not deport children from the United States of America.
And can you promise not to deport immigrants who don't have a criminal record?
I can make that promise.
Their conversation did touch on other topics, but immigration dominated this debate.
Preguntas de seguimiento.
Sponsored by the Spanish language network Univision. Each of the candidates, regardless of the language, making their last face-to-face pitch before next Tuesday's primaries.
Open their mic.
I can't hear
Jay
you.
Gray, NBC News, Miami.
Take.
Nielsen says at least 5 million people watched the Miami debate for the Democrats, with the audience split between Univision and CNN.
And today in Gainesville, thousands of people got a chance to see one of the candidates. Andrea Newport-Jones has that story.
Open her mic. Take. Roll A.
Bernie Sanders made a whirlwind trip to UF this morning. Most presidential campaigns tend to focus on the I-4 corridor or South Florida to reach as many people as possible, but the Sanders campaign has been getting a warm welcome among younger voters.
Roll take.
Senator Bernie Sanders!
Oh my gosh.
Trail from Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders reached Gainesville, Florida today. A stop at UF came together in less than 48 hours after a phone call between the Sanders campaign and a student group.
Well, I was about to go into a meeting, and I had to cancel the meeting, obviously. It was about a 15-minute call. I was very excited.
One phone call led to hundreds of people lining up hours before the gates opened at University Village Field. Some arrived at midnight to get a front row seat. Sanders did not disappoint.
But unless you're out on the playing field, football is a spectator sport. Democracy is not a spectator sport.
Sanders spoke about universal health care, free tuition, and ended with a call to action.
Let's win here in Florida on Tuesday. Come out to vote. Thank you very much.
The crowds have faded, but the people who came here this morning are leaving with much more than they came with. Many students left the rally ready to vote on Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm kind of like independent, but going into this, I went like with an open mind, but I'm definitely a Bernie fan now because he definitely has some good ideas.
Sanders will be making his next stop in Kissimmee as he gears up for the Florida primary on the 15th. And yesterday's Quinnipiac poll showed Hillary Clinton with a big lead over Bernie Sanders in Florida, 62% to 32%. But when pollsters looked just at Democrats under the age 45, the two were tied at 49%. Reporting from UF Newsroom, Andrea Newport-Jones, WUFT News.
Thanks, Andrea. But we do know that Sanders actually was not alone in the Sunshine State.
No, that's right. Hillary Clinton also here. She swung by Tampa, hoping to hold on to her lead in the state, which is especially important for her after that upset in Michigan. Clinton continued pushing her job plan today and even encouraged everyone to vote early.
So, my friends, join with me in this primary campaign. Get everybody you know out to vote. Join with me, and I will fight for you every day through this campaign. And most importantly, if I'm so honored as to be your president, I will get up every single day thinking about how I can knock down those barriers.
Clinton's next stop is Durham, North Carolina, followed by Vernon Hills, Illinois.
All right, you can see behind us, it is a beautiful day here in Miami. I hope things are looking just as nice in North Florida.
That's right. UF forecaster Amanda Hawley joins us now. Amanda, how are things looking in Gainesville? It's going to be a little warmer this evening.
It is. In fact, we're actually around 10 degrees warmer than what you guys are feeling. Right now it's around 79 degrees in Miami, but here it's much actually warmer in the mid-80s. But we do have the chance for some fog tonight to develop again after around 4 a.m. Tonight it could be a little more widespread than it was this morning, but you can see here the areas shaded in yellow are where we expect to have visibility less than 1 mile, and it will quickly burn off tomorrow morning. Here's a live look over the University of Florida campus right now. 85 degrees here, so very warm out there. 83 at the Gainesville Regional Airport, 84 down in Ocala, and those temperatures are going to be very mild tonight. They're only going to fall into the mid-60s by around 2 a.m. Coming up, I will have your full weather forecast. Back to you.
Thanks, Amanda. Well, here in Florida, we're all familiar with Marco Rubio, our two-term senator, but he's giving that up to go all in for the big prize.
Right, Rubio is back in Miami where his political career actually started, making his case for the White House. Now, political experts are saying Rubio must win his home state next week in order to keep his hopes alive in 2016. Senator Rubio has only won 2 primaries so far, Minnesota and Puerto Rico. And in several other states, he's been coming in third behind front-runner Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. But Rubio denies any intention of ending his campaign before the primary on Tuesday, saying his home state will be the most important one.
As it usually does, it comes down to Florida. It always comes down to Florida. 99 delegates are going to be awarded next Monday here in Florida. 99 delegates, all at once in one place, and I need you to come out and vote. If you come out and vote, we are going to win Florida. We are going to take 99 delegates, and I'm going to be the nominee of the Republican Party.
But Rubio still trails Republican frontrunner Donald Trump in Florida. The Donald is fresh off of 3 wins this week in Michigan, Mississippi, and Hawaii, and is hoping to embarrass 2 of his competitors in their home states next week. But yesterday, he was in the Tar Heel State campaigning before the North Carolina primaries next week as well. Trump is still working to solidify himself as the Republican frontrunner despite strong late pushes from Senator Ted Cruz in several states last week.
And we didn't win by a little bit, we won by landslides. Mississippi, Michigan, Hawaii, thank you all very much. You know, it's sort of interesting because Lion Ted Cruz came up and he said, I'm the only one that can beat Donald Trump. I'm the only one. And you know, it's sort of, he doesn't know how to win. He doesn't know how to win.
But Ted Cruz is trying to make the case he's the only man who can beat Donald Trump this year. Carly Fiorina, who dropped out of the race earlier this year, endorsed Cruz this week in Miami. Cruz won 2 primaries last week and another this week and trails Trump by fewer than 100 delegates. And the Texas senator is urging Rubio and Ohio Governor John Kasich to strongly consider ending their campaigns.
Well, it is now clear, as we've got some 361 delegates, that there are only 2 candidates that have a credible path to the nomination, a credible path to 1,237 delegates, and that is Donald Trump, who is 100 delegates ahead of me, and myself.
And Kasich is hoping to stay in the race with the win in his home state of Ohio on Tuesday, where, unlike Rubio in Florida, the governor leads Donald Trump in the polls. Kasich was in Illinois predicting his win at home, hoping to put an end to Donald Trump's momentum. And he says he hopes his campaign can prove that you don't need to fight dirty to win big these days.
Track A, track B, rotate.
And I don't know whether you noticed or not, but I refuse to get down in the mud to be elected president of the United States. Okay? I refuse.
Tonight, the Republicans take the stage in Miami, their 12th debate in a campaign that has been crazy, sometimes a below-the-belt free-for-all.
That's right. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, John Kasich, all chasing frontrunner Donald Trump. With time running out, Jay Gray is back with this story.
The Democrats firing up their ground game in Florida. Bernie Sanders, fresh off a surprise win in Michigan, and looking for more.
On Tuesday, got 5 states coming up, including Florida. If you guys come out to vote, we're going to pull off an upset here as well.
Hillary Clinton leading in the polls and the delegate count and hoping to, in effect, close out the nomination next week.
People ask me all the time, well, who do I want to run against? That's not for me to decide. But given what they've all said, I will take any one of them.
3 of the 4 Republican candidates traveled to the Sunshine State now, looking for a ray of hope in a race that's been controlled to this point by billionaire Donald Trump.
You're going to love your president.
Marco Rubio comes into tonight's debate desperate for a win here in his home state. The same is true for John Kasich, confident, though, he'll take his home turf of Ohio, while Ted Cruz, the only GOP contender who's cut into Trump's lead with a handful of primary and caucus wins, picked up some added support from a Senate colleague today, the first to endorse his campaign.
He is the only Republican candidate who can defeat Donald Trump and who can defeat Hillary Clinton, and I believe he will.
Of course, the most important endorsement comes from voters who get their next chance to weigh in on Tuesday. Jay Gray, NBC News, Miami.
And this special Miami edition of WUFT News First at 5 is just getting started. Coming up, we'll be speaking live with a university professor from Miami about all things politics.
Plus, Amanda, we'll be back talking about this beautiful weather and how long it'll last. Stay with us. We'll be back live from Miami in just 2 minutes.
Alright, let's get that shot back up, and we need a 3-shot. Let's get... Yes. That's exactly right. We are coming to... Can I briefly, know what the first thing they might talk about is? Hey, can you track FS31, please?
Well, would you like to introduce yourself? Well, actually, how do you pronounce your last name? Uzinski. So I'm here with Joe Uzinski. He's a professor of law. No, political science professor. I'm sorry. What?
1 minute out.
The first thing I'm going to ask... Okay, I don't actually... Okay, I'll say I'm here now live with political science professor Joe Uzinski. He's working at the University of Miami. I'm going to ask him... No, I'm going to ask him about how the Republican candidates tonight are going to address issues that affect Miami. Then Connor is going to ask the same question about college students, since the debate tonight is at a university, and then I typed in the next question into the Google Doc.
Do we have a Google Doc open? No. All right, 15 seconds out. Ready, FS31. Ready, you're open. 22 and 9, 8, 7, 6. Track red. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wait and roll red.
You're watching WUFT TV.
So we're here now live with the political science professor Joe Usinski. He is working at the University of Miami. So what we would like to know at the Republican debate tonight in Miami, what will the candidates be doing to appeal to Floridians?
Well, that's tough to know because a lot of it's going to be driven by what the moderators ask, and it's also going to be driven by what the candidates want to talk about. So, yes, on one hand, they have the Florida primary coming up and they have to speak to those voters. On the other hand, this is a national audience and they have to speak to everybody because there's still a lot of states out there that haven't voted yet and they need to speak to them too. So, I think there'll be a few issues that they'll want to touch on. I mean, after last night's debate where there was some talk about how does Bernie Sanders feel about Fidel Castro, that's probably going to come up tonight. And I think all the candidates are going to have to say that they really don't like Fidel Castro. This is a Republican crowd. There will be a lot of older Cubans in the audience, and they're going to have to really talk about that issue and make it clear that they're very different from, the Democrats on that.
And playing off that question about being here in Florida, we're also, again, at the University of Miami here in Coral Gables. So there will be, a lot of eyes here at Miami on this debate, so a lot of college students paying attention. What do you expect to see from the candidates tonight kind of appealing to those voters?
Well, the neat thing right now is that we're on spring break. So there aren't going to be as many college students at the debate as there are college administrators and professors like myself. So the tack might be to talk more about funding colleges more in general rather than just appealing to students. So it might be, how can we help colleges fulfill their mission? How can we get more students to the colleges rather than the direct pitch that some candidates have made to students like, we will give you free college to go wherever you want. So there might be something of a different message on that tonight. And particularly, these are Republicans. So they're not going to say the same things that Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton talk about. They're not going to give out free college, and they're not going to want to say they're giving out free anything, because it's just not what Republicans do.
And now Florida is a winner-take-all state, 99 delegates, and there have been a lot of people calling for at least one candidate to step up to fight Trump if they don't want Trump as the nominee. So what would that one candidate, if there's going to be one, have to do in order to win out against Trump?
Well, there's a really interesting dynamic right now, and it's taking place in both parties, even though it's kind of hard to observe. You have this outsider, Bernie Sanders, who's getting about a third of the vote. He's not doing as well in delegates, but he's getting about a third to about half of the vote as Hillary Clinton. And you have Trump, who's essentially getting about a third of the Republican vote. And they're both outsiders. With the Democrats, you have one candidate who's on the inside, Hillary Clinton. But for the Republicans, you have starting out with 16 or 17. So that vote is still very much splintered. But the one thing we have to know is that Donald Trump still isn't getting majority of the Republicans. He's getting about a third to 40%. So if the rest of the candidates could consolidate, if they consolidated their votes behind one candidate, they could overtake Trump. And there's got to be a lot of overtures going on right now between the Republican establishment and the remaining candidates trying to get somebody out.
And I know we spoke on the university a little bit earlier. Do you know if any tickets were given out to students? Are there students attending this debate?
The University of Miami did provide tickets to students. Of course, there aren't that many students around. Most of the tickets were controlled by CNN and the RNC, but students are able to go, and there's a lot of student volunteers and probably one professor who got a ticket.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, now people often feel torn between seeking a career that will pay them well and one where they'll be happy in their everyday lives.
That's right. STEM fields can be a path to high pay, and a new survey says that's still true for 2016. But as Danette Trimboli reports, insiders say the future may reward those who can do it well in both worlds.
Glassdoor.com has released a survey showing the highest paying jobs in the country for 2016. From doctors to IT managers, many involve science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. the STEM fields.
To a great degree, that's driving the wage gap. It's the fact that there is a tremendous demand for these technically oriented students.
Glassdoor says 70% of Americans rank pay as the #1 factor in choosing a career path.
Not to say that I don't like what I do, but there was definitely income played a very big role.
But Glassdoor notes that high pay doesn't always equate to job satisfaction. Despite the difference in wages, STEM programs and non-STEM programs working together could lead to a more productive and successful future.
The future of human-centered design is a combination of skills of understanding the human being and human element and understanding technology at the same time.
That trend may favor people and programs that overlap STEM and non-STEM areas. Danette Trimboli, WUFT News.
Those STEM careers dominated the list. Lawyers actually ranked second behind doctors.
And a few marketing and management positions also made the top 25: creative director, product manager, and design manager. Now, we talked before about what a beautiful day it is here in Miami. Sunny skies, and it has been pretty wonderful out in North Florida too. Pretty warm, pretty sunny. We'll get joined now by our forecaster, Amanda Hawley. Is it going to be warm for the rest of the week?
Yes, in fact, tomorrow we're gonna see our warmest temperature of the week, and then I want to talk a little bit about the weekend too, because if you've got plans, you want to pay attention for just a couple of minutes here. We do have the chance for some fog tonight to develop after around 4 a.m. It will become a little more dense by around 6 a.m., and I think that's when it will be the most dense. So plan for a couple extra minutes once again on your Friday morning for some fog out there. It'll quickly burn off though. In terms of temperatures, like I said, we're warm right now. In fact, we're about 10 degrees above average. 83 is the current temperature at the Gainesville Regional Airport, 84 down in Ocala. Like I said a little bit earlier, it's a little bit cooler actually down there in Miami. But Friday morning, it'll be around 61 degrees. Temperatures will be very mild tonight for March standards. 59 in Lake City, 58 in Ocala. Again, that patchy fog possible when you step out the door. Now, the three big things: it's getting even warmer. It's still getting warmer. We have that high pressure still large and in charge just to the east of us. So Friday's going to be the warmest day that we'll see so far this week. And guess what? We could have a near record high possible as well. That record's 88, actually set back in 1974. We'll be a little bit cooler on Saturday thanks to a little bit more cloud cover, and we've got this slow-moving front that will move in on Sunday. It will give us a good chance for some rain, maybe the possibility for some thunderstorms as well. But then after that, it's just a little bump in the road because we've got another nice stretch coming. Generally warm and dry starting Monday. Here's the highs, though, for Friday afternoon. 87 in Gainesville, 87 in Ocala, like I said, that record 88. So it'll be a warm one out there, increasing clouds later in the daytime until this front makes its way through. Here it is right now. You can still see kind of a low pressure spinning there heading into Texas. It's actually going to quickly move off to the Midwest, and it's going to send a trailing cold front through here in North Florida on Sunday. But Saturday should be mostly dry. I can't rule out a spotty shower coming through the area with the added moisture in the atmosphere. But that front is still way off to the west. Not until Sunday afternoon do I think we could start to see a few showers, maybe a few spotty thunderstorms out there as well. Now, the amount of rain that we're talking is very little, especially compared to the rain that the Deep South has experienced. And still, Louisiana, Mississippi, and parts of Alabama as well are still expected to receive around 10 inches of rain through Tuesday. For us here, it'll just be a little less than that. In fact, less than a half an inch is expected to fall when that front moves through. Here's a quick look at your 6-day temperatures in the 80s for the next 6 days. Back to you.
Well, it's been a bumpy road for the Florida men's basketball team. Their postseason dreams and aspirations are on life support, and today the rubber met the road for the Florida Gators. Florida took on the Arkansas Razorbacks in round 1 of the SEC tournament. Coming up in sports, I'll show you if the Gators survive. Come on back, sports is next.
It was not me. Is Ryan aware that he needs to toss to weather? Put it 30 back. package isn't timed out. This package isn't timed out. This package is not timed out. Uh-oh. How long is your package? Track him? You're not, no one's tracking it. Okay. 146, thumbs up if that's right. 148, thank you. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So his package was not... 30 seconds out. We need a decision and ready sports. Ready your open. Ready his mic.
You check the sports mic, please. Track sports.
I thought we were going to go live tomorrow.
What do we do? Kill the rest of sports? 15, stand by.
Alright, then kill his package. We'll figure it out.
10 seconds. Kill his mic. Kill his mic. Ready, red. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and roll red. Take a
Going into today's game, the postseason fate of the Florida men's basketball team hung in the balance. Win and you'll live to play another day. Lose and another year on the outside looking into the NCAA tournament seems inevitable. Welcome back to sports. I'm Ryan Nelson. Today, Florida took on Arkansas in round 1 of the SEC tournament. The Gators beat the Razorbacks earlier this season, but let's see how they fared today. Florida needed their leaders to step up, and they did. Casey Hill dropped 18 points on 6 of 10 shooting. Dorian Finney-Smith also came up big for the Gators, getting 13 points and 9 rebounds. Oh, so close to a double-double. But the Gators had their hands full on the defensive end. Arkansas guard Dusty Hannah dropped 33 points, drilling only 2 threes. But the Gators hold on. Signed, sealed, delivered. The second round is yours, Florida. The Gators face Texas A&M tomorrow at noon. Well, the Florida baseball team played Game 2 of their series with UNF yesterday. The Gators brought out the Bruins and came up with a sweep, but it wasn't easy. First inning, Gators trail, but not for long. Mike Rivera smacks this one to left center field, and he gets a bit of a break on what would have been an awesome catch. Deacon Lippett, Peter Alonso, and Buddy Reed run home, and the Gators take a 3-1 lead. Then Mark Colsavar sends a screamer over the fence. That's the sophomore's second home run of the year, giving Florida's catchers 8, the team's 12 homers on the season. At this point, the Gators feel like they might just run away with it, but the Ospreys surge back and unfortunately just run out of gas. Gators escape with the win, 5-4.
Our goal is to keep getting better and play well as SEC starts and play our best baseball at the end of the year. It's just that simple. I mean, 15 games in, and we're going to play a lot of baseball moving forward.
The Gators host Harvard and a weekend homestand starting tomorrow. Well, the baseball team isn't the only team taking names on the diamond. 24 games into the season, and the Florida softball team is still undefeated. The Gators are coming off a duplicate 9-0 wins over South Dakota yesterday, but the story of the doubleheader came in Game 2. Delaney Gorley tossed Florida's 17th ever no-hitter and second this season. Florida made it rain in the first inning, scoring all 9 of their runs in the opening frame. To date, Florida has outscored their opponents 161-13. Tim Walton is now just 1 win away from his 700th win ever. The Gators take on Auburn in a weekend road series starting Saturday. And before we go, one last check on the weather.
You could have some patchy fog out there when you step out the door. It'll start to develop after around 4 a.m. and then I think become most dense right around 6 a.m. The area is shaded in yellow here where visibility is expected to be less than 1 mile. So that includes the I-75 corridor. So plan for a couple extra minutes as you head out the door. That fog will quickly burn off though as the sun does rise. Tomorrow we could be approaching record highs and it will be a mild start though. 61 in Gainesville, 58 in Ocala. Patchy fog is possible with partly cloudy skies out there. Here's a look at your 6 day. The next 6 days are in the 80s. However, we do have a cold front coming through on Sunday. It will bring us a good chance for some rain, the possibility for some thunderstorms after 2 o'clock on Sunday. On Saturday, though, ahead of that front, I'm not going to rule out a spotty shower moving through with the added moisture in the area. But most areas should stay dry, and it should be later in the afternoon. But then after that, temperatures really are only the lowest on Sunday with that extra cloud cover. They rise right back into the mid-80s come Wednesday. So just a little bump in the road as we head towards the weekend. Certainly plan your outdoor activities on Saturday. Back to you.
Thanks, Amanda, and thank you all at home for joining us for this special edition of WUFT News First at 5, live from the University of Miami campus. We'll be back tomorrow at 5, but your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org.
And be sure to tune in tomorrow because we're going to break down everything that goes on here in Miami tonight at the GOP debate, so you won't want to miss it. Have a good night.